listen to a story from our brother Dawo'od, Jazallah Khayran. In this masjid, mashallah, he's one of the members in this masjid, maybe for about 20 years. And mashallah, with a long journey with Quran. Mashallah, when I listen to his recitation, I remember Shaykh al-Husari, rahimahullah. Mashallah. So he's one of the students of the Quran. He is an old man but with a young heart. Mashallah, and mashallah, he has a himna. I told him to bring his notebook. Mashallah, he is very keen to write and to study and to attend the lesson in our masjid. So.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبي محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. My name is Dawo'od, and I've been connected with community in Norristown for, I guess it's about 1995. I have a very short story, but it's a long story. Believe it or not, I'll be 81 years old on my birthday. My birthday is in 2 months. I embraced Islam in 1992. I didn't know one word of Arabic. I didn't know anything about Islam, and no one approached me in reference to taking Shahadatain. I saw some brothers praying one day, and I asked them, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, we're praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." I said, "I like that. I like what you're doing. I don't know what you're saying, but I like what you're doing." So I embraced Islam. From that point on, I had Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah, with me throughout my journey. And my journey began by making an attempt to learn the alphabet. You know, okay, well, alhamdulillah, I learned that for, maybe a month or two. I remember at this point in time, I was almost 50 years old. And my ability to retain things was somewhat limited at that time. But I struggled and struggled and struggled until I learned the alphabet. Then I began the process of making an attempt to learn some of the tajweed of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Over a period of time, I did that for about 3 or 4 years. I was struggling very, very hard, and I didn't have anyone, with the exception of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to guide me in this process. So I began listening to various tapes from the various scholars, and I learned a little bit. Now, don't ask me why I'm up here. I come to the masjid every morning, inshallah, 7 days a week, early in the morning, before anyone is here, and I try to read from the Musaf. I make an attempt to do that. Somewhere along the line, there were people listening to me, and I didn't know it. I thought I was over in the corner reading by myself and just reciting from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, Nizar Yagi, the Sheikh, and a few other people, I presume, were listening to me. I know they were, because if I made any type of an error, they would come over and tell me, "I'll recite that again." And this has been going on with Nizar Yagi for a good period of time, and the Sheikh since he's been here. Getting back to my story, over the past 20 years, I would recite whenever I could, whenever the opportunity presented itself. I would always use Islam as opposed to dealing with anything in the dunya. 3:30, 4 o'clock, get up, come to the masjid. Very quiet, no one here, you can read from the Musaf without any problems at all. So that's what I did over a course of time. Back, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, there was a sheikh named Sheikh Saeed from over in Villanova. The sheikh is presently in Boston. At that period of time, I had a job in Haverford, Pennsylvania. So I was able to pray at the Villanova Masjid. And the sheikh was there at the time. So every morning I would go in, pray, sit with the sheikh and embarrass myself to some extent because of the fact that every 2 or 3 words he would correct me. This went on for a good period of time until the sheikh moved from Villanova and he went somewhere in Boston. Nizar Kurdi and Dr. Safi were present at the musallas on DeKalb Street and on Green Street before we moved to this masjid that we're in now. They were very instrumental in helping me to learn more and more and more and more, and the more I tried to learn, the more they would help me. And basically, that's where I am today, based upon the help that I received from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from people like the Sheikh, like Dr. Safi, like the Imam, like Nizar Kurdi, like Nizar Yagi. These people were very instrumental in helping me. The Sheikh has come to Norristown, finally. We have someone here that gives classes. My only problem with that now is that I'm sitting up here talking. On a Thursday night, I will come and I'll, inshallah, we'll recite from the Mus'haf. However, we only have a few people. Look at all the people we have here today. So I'm assuming that everyone here today, even the youth, are being very diligent over the course of time, especially the youth, and some of you older brothers also, are being very diligent in making attempts to recite from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a regular basis. Because without diligence, due diligence, and the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not going to happen. We can assume, all of us, and I never ever have, but we can assume that we know how to recite from the Mus'haf. Come to the masjid one Thursday evening, any Thursday evening, and sit with the Imam and some others and actually see where you are as far as the recitation of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all think we can, and we all think we know. I don't think I can, I don't think I know, and I get embarrassed when I have to read in front of someone. That's when I begin making some errors, because I don't want to make an error, but because I'm reciting in front of people, sometimes I do. So I'm inviting everyone here.